Okay, so I am Rowan. You are Rob,
I am Rob. You are Rowan.
and you and you've been working on a TTRPG.
Yes, working on a tabletop RPG system, and you are going to help me with the art of that.
I am.
Yeah.
I was gonna draw 3 characters. I'm gonna sketch them with you, and then finish them beyond this.
Yeah, we're going to pick some random characters. There's 2 core things in the TTRPG system that I'm creating.
Mm-hmm.
One is the system does not have a specific setting, like it's not a system for like fantasy games or sci-fi games. It's kind of a system that's supposed to be for any genre of game.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is that there aren't classes for player characters. What you do is you choose a selection of talents. If you wanted to be no class. My game's got no class, that's right.
Yeah.
So if like you wanted to be like a fire mage, you'd choose like, a spell casting and then elementalist and something else.
Right.
So we have a number of arts to throw in the book. And one of them, you were going to make, we're doing a playtest in a few weeks.
Yeah, and I'm going to be a
going to make
dwarf.
yourself a dwarf librarian for the low magic medieval technology setting.
Now, for dwarves, do your dwarves all have facial hair, regardless of gender?
Oh,
Or
that's
no?
really up. Yeah, that's really up to you.
I think she's just gonna have some crazy sideburns.
Yeah,
And I'm just doing a sketch. I'm not doing a full whatever.
we'll do the full reveal after. We're just
Yeah. But
that's it. So we're doing a test in this setting. There was once superior magic, which is the highest level of magic. So basically, all of society was built around the idea of magic. Like magic ran everything. Like magic ran transportation and commerce, and basically, like all government was reliant on magic. Military was based on magic, and then over a year, an event happened called the Fading, where the magic just started failing. In some places it happened like practically overnight, in other places it just seeped away. But at this point there's not a lot of magic left. So basically to put it in a historical perspective for Earth, everyone who's left living is living in the abandoned buildings of like the old Roman Empire. Like they're still trying to figure out how to, do the things that they used to do quite easily without, with the infrastructure completely destroyed.
right.
So you had an idea to play a librarian who's seeking out the ancient informations.
Yeah, basically the librarian character from the Mummy movies, like was that the 90s?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think the Mummy was 1995, 1996.
I'm ancient, but yeah. So that lady.
Yes, the ancient knowledge of the Mummy movies.
Yeah. So that lady, but like as a dwarf. That's my thought. So these would be basically her portions.
Yeah. Another way I've been describing it to people is it's Mad Max, but what fails is magic instead of oil.
Right.
So it's still, the little bit that's still there is still coveted.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So, really excited for that. I think I have the combat system down. I'm still working on, like, making sure that, like, everything is fully written out because there's a lot of interlocking pieces in the game system.
Yeah.
So making sure there's appropriate math for everything that you can level up. I can talk about dwarves a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Should have a bigger nose.
also in a game, you don't choose like a race; you choose a bloodline. So dwarves, if you want to be of the dwarven bloodlines, there's 4 different ones available in the main book. There's caravan dwarves, which are the most separated from like what's considered to be like the ancient dwarf lineage, the proper way to dwarf. They've basically given up on mining. They travel by boat, groups of boats and groups of wagons to places. They do still have a reputation for enjoying like jewelry and crafting, but if you like culturally, that's because like it's easier to move around wealth that way. Because if you're wearing your wealth, it's harder for people to take. is
Alright.
their sort of thing. So they'll wear a lot of like rings and jewelry. They're also more laissez-faire with their beard. Like they'll shave fancy designs into their beards and braid them in strange ways and like braid them around different things. So yeah, and then there's also the complete like flip of that is the deep dwarves, the dwarves that like essentially never go to the surface. They just live in their minds, and they may have a door to the surface through which they trade and send messages, but maybe if they ever want to. But they're very isolationist, so they don't really care what's going on elsewhere. They just want to, mine and increase their stacks, and they have very little use for what isn't that. So they're considered the most traditional dwarves, and also amongst other dwarves, they're just like the most stern and unyielding, the most like bent on tradition. A step up from that is hill dwarves, which are a little bit more essentially like dwarf versions of hobbits. They kind of live. They'll still mine, but they tend to like live above ground as much as below ground. And they're like friendly, long beards. But tend to be like very integrated to the above ground community as well, unlike the deep dwarves.
Doing her some sexy eyelids.
And then there's the pit dwarves, which are kind of the risk takers. They'll delve where dangerously and deeply. Look at that.
So she's got a
That's
face
looking good.
Sort of a body going on.
Yeah.
I feel
I like her muscles.
I feel like she should have some kind of that kind of a sleeve.
Alright.
You have no opinion on this.
I like it. I like what you're doing.
Good.
So yeah, the pit dwarves are seen as a little bit more mercenary. They don't have the best like cost-benefit analysis going on from the outside perspective, because they're like, but they also like when they hit cachets, they hit like big cachets. And as I'm like talking about all this, like these sort of characterizations work both in high fantasy, but if I say this happens in space, it doesn't really change anything about what I'm saying.
That's fair.
So you can, or you could put them in a modern setting, and it's the same sort of thing, which is what I'm going for. Just general, like, these are the ways that the different bloodlines have, like, historically just been dealing with their stuff. So yeah, that's dwarves. I got a bunch of neat stuff that I'm looking forward to seeing what people play.
Well, I can stop up the dwarf right now. We can move on to our next character.
Alright. Should we randomly generate them?
Mayhaps.
Or do you want me to just pick something like super interesting?
I don't know.
Because we did dwarf, but everyone's seen like dwarves and elves and stuff, so we could do the Eerie, we could do the Telemites.
I like the Eerie.
I know, yeah, we should do the Eerie.
This dwarf got a little sexy.
Well, yeah. It's
Well, yeah.
It's your character, it's gonna be a little sexy.
I'm gonna fix the shoes in post, fix everything in post, but yeah.
And
So.
come back to see the final dwarf.
Well, what we can do. Dwarf. Yep. Did that not work? Okay. So. Let's do a new thing.
New thing.
New thing. So what is this one going to be?
Let's do Eerie.
How do you spell that?
It's E-I-R-Y. But it's pronounced like something spooky. Eerie.
Yeah. Alright. So tell me what the Eerie is like.
So the Eerie, they're actually a strange bloodline, because any couple could have a child who's an Eerie. It's kind of somewhere like it's a bit fayish in magic. The idea is that they're exposed to magic at some point, which transfers to the child. So they come out with animal traits, and they can also be a different size than their parents. But they look like their parents' kid. They just also look like they're part animal or part plant. They have those naturalistic features. The bloodlines of the Erie are the Faust, which have horns and hooves or other mammal traits. The Shio, which have bird traits like feathers and beaks. The Anthor, which have insect traits, compound eyes, and a chitinous armor over their skin. The Pisu have fish traits, and the Bot have plant traits.
Thought about making this have an antler. Thought about making it have a branch on its head. Thought about making it sort of insect-like. I don't know. What do you think?
I like the idea because the horns ones I think will be a little bit easier. I want to make it hard for you, so let's go insect.
I can still have things like that there.
They could still have like the stag coming out of the mouth.
That's what I'm picturing is where did they go? Could be more here.
Yeah.
This is just a sketch. It's okay if it's stupid. I'll fix it in post.
So the Erie, again, like depending on the setting, the Erie could be considered a blessing or a curse. In cultures where they're a little bit more in tune with the way magic and nature intertwine, they might consider it being an Erie a blessing. In other ones, they might just think the kid is weird. So it could go either way with that. I really like what you're doing with the face.
I'm glad because there's no turning back.
What's done is done. So yeah, they have, and again, this is something that could like exist in any setting, depending.
Right. This would be very easy in sci-fi.
Right, you just have them be like an alien race.
I don't know what I would do with the top of the head. I feel like it should be something. I'm doing something. I'm possessed. This is just doing it once.
Alright. You're doing good so far.
Pope hat head. No.
So the Erie, I think, are really neat. I think there's a lot of good story ideas that you could do through them. So similar, you played, when we were playing D&D, you were playing a tiefling.
Yes.
And in the world that we were in, tieflings were kind of a similar sort of thing, where like, because of the demonic energies, sometimes like people's kids turned out to be tieflings. But because of their history with demons, it didn't go well for tieflings as children.
No.
But with I like that with the Erie, it can go the other way because it's not the Christian symbolism of evil.
Right.
Because I love the tieflings, but like they are intended to look like
demonic
demons and devils, who are just assumed to be evil from a Western culture perspective.
Right.
Whereas these are just like weird, and their relationship with you depends on how well you deal with weird. I like it, Picasso.
So he'll be... Get them heaps.
Yep.
I don't know what the
And it works
because
because the insect ones, I think what we landed on is insect ones get additional block because they have that chitin. Because all these bloodlines get like an extra special thing that the other ones don't get.
Right.
To sort of differentiate, so you're not just like a dwarf isn't just a dwarf and an Erie is not just an Erie. They have a mechanic that matches what their aesthetic is.
Right.
So, like, I think it was Shio. They're not capable of flight, but they can fall for longer distances without taking damage. So it's nothing like breaking, but like it's certainly helpful. And the Pisu, or Pisku, how am I pronouncing that? Pisu?
You're the one who wrote it.
I am. That doesn't mean I know how to pronounce it.
Terrible.
It's supposed to be a take on Pisces, so I'm going to say Pisu. They can hold their breath for longer, and potentially get a swim speed. I'm still trying to figure out if that like breaks anything.
Do they have to be... Like, could he have multiple legs?
He could have like tinier little arms, like if you
Extra?
want. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the legs. Like, he shouldn't be like a centaur situation, right?
I mean, I'm not gonna piss on anyone's cereal if they want to do that. That's not quite how I imagined mine, but if that's how yours is, yeah, go nuts.
I can at least make him have a butt.
Yeah. Butts. That's how we get this game to the top of the charts. Everyone's got a badunk. Goblins stacked. Elves with a walnut smasher. Listen, I told you we might not want to do this after my ADHD medication wears off, and you said it'll be fine. So this is where we are now.
I did. That's on me. So, do. Almost dinosaur-like. Again, this will be fixed in post. And then you'll see the final versions at the end of this video.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's maybe him.
Alright. Looks good.
Let's make him slightly larger again.
They can
Anything
fit.
else you want to say about them?
I think that's it for the Eerie.
So, ta-dum. Ta-dum. And who's next? Who's our third contender?
You want, we could flip it totally and do Android. Do technology.
The thing that is hardest for me to draw.
You just draw boxes over a humanoid. It's fine.
Android. Not iPhone.
Not iPhone, just Android.
Android. I have an Android. Okay.
So we've had many long discussions about golems and their depictions in media.
Mm-hmm.
I did want a species that was a built species. So what I settled on was android, which is their physical representation of their creators, so they could be small, medium, or large. And they also work in, if they're enchanted, they work in a magic setting, or if they're like self-aware robots, they work in the sci-fi settings, and the in-betweens.
Oh, I'm just drawing a weird grr. Hold on. That's not really what I want.
You could do that as a start and just alter it.
Yeah.
Give them more of a mouth and jaw thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't know this reference, but it also looks a little fresh cut grass.
I know fresh cut grass. I'm not
Have you
completely
seen
unaware.
fresh cut grass, though?
I'm not completely unaware of the Critical Role.
I know you're generally aware because you've heard the names, but have you seen the fresh cut grass art?
No.
Then you're not taking inspiration from it. It's just happenstance. So this might help you. So there's different models of androids.
Mm-hmm.
The Iridians are combat models. They get a built-in weapon. One of their weapon choices on character creation is just built into them and can't be disarmed. There's the Umberians, who are infiltrator models. They have a stealth mode, which allows them to be sneakier. There's a labor model called the Quotidians. They have an overdrive mode. They can enhance their physical statistics for a short period of time, but they take a negative until they can recharge.
Alright.
And there's the Quotidians.
You wrote it!
I did, but I still have to make sure. Should put in some phonetics, maybe.
Yeah.
Quotidians are the medical models, and they have built-in medical tools, whatever's appropriate for the era. They have like surgeon's tools, all built in.
Draw in a box.
Yeah. Like I said, just draw a box on top of a bipedal figure, and you've got a robot. That's a really good robot so far.
Thank you. This is not what I was going to say designed to do. What I'm trained to do? I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say here.
It's not what your practice is in. You do better bio stuff.
Yes. Yes, I do.
But you still have that chance for androids, because it doesn't mean that they have to be mechanical. Like, forest folk could grow wooden automatons. If you're in a magic setting, there's nothing that says that couldn't be the case.
Well, like Warforged.
Yeah.
You can have some wooden stuff going on.
Exactly. So there's options you can do to fit it in with what you're doing. They don't have to be like metal men.
I kind of like it, though.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the Tin Man. How awful that story is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, in the book, it's much worse.
It's much, much worse.
It's so... The movie is so, like... As, like, horrific as some children say it, like, scarred them, compared to the book...
Yeah.
It's such a Disney fairy tale compared to the original Germanic.
Yeah. Well, the telling of the story was filmed and then not put in the final version. So you wind up with this moment between the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, where Tin Man's telling the story about how his axe got possessed, and it cut off his one arm and it cut off his other arm, and the Scarecrow's like, well, if it already cut off your one arm, it cut off the other arm, and he responds with, well, you see, it was a magic axe, as though that's a joke, as though that's a ha-ha, as though that's a funny and not a horror show. Fun fact, Wizard of Oz is one of 2 children's stories, classic children's stories, where my mom tried to read it to me as a little kid, and we didn't get through it because I hated it so much. I wound up reading it later, when I was much older, but as a kid, I was like, ha ha ha, no, this is scary. It was that, and Pinocchio was the other one.
Yeah, Pinocchio's a horror story.
I don't know how to legs.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, you could do wheels. You can give them spider legs if you want.
Yes, I'm going with spider legs.
Spider legs. All right. Oh, side thought I had, because you were talking about Wizard of Oz. I realized that you could build the Wizard of Oz using my character creator stuff.
Oh.
Because I would probably say that the Tin Man is quotidian. He's the labor model. But probably Scarecrow, given how he's introduced, is the Umberdian. So he's stealth. You just don't notice him as long as he doesn't move. And then the Lion could be an Eerie, because he has mammalian features. And then Dorothy's just a human. Because, of course, in every system you need just a human. Although I tried to make mine not so boring.
I don't know how this is connecting here.
Orbs.
Orbs.
It could just be orbs.
Oops, all orbs.
At some point he might need arms too. It depends on what it is.
I'll think about it.
Not rushing you. You're doing good.
I'm not.
No, you are. I like what you're doing.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You passed the butter.
So, in the core rulebook, the other races are, we have androids and dwarves, and you've seen the Eerie. There's also elves, goblins, the Kartsa, which are very similar to how people imagine halflings, lizard folk, man folk, the Orker, and Telemites.
Okay.
I think the only one that people might have questions on is Telemites, and Telemites are bloodlines with elemental powers. So while the Eerie have more like bio-natural sort of, the magic that infuses the Telemites is like fire, earth, air, that sort of thing.
Alright.
So, and then So you choose your bloodline, and also you choose your culture and upbringing, which affects your training and languages and the skills that you have.
Oh, weird. This is suddenly symmetrical. Huh.
That's so good. Look at that magic.
Yeah. Look at that. We're gonna...
Cast your spell.
There we go. Oh man, check. That was actually pretty close.
Yeah.
That box. Alright.
You're good with the box. Some arms on that guy, and he's good.
Yeah.
So the big thing is like writing out the talents, because like I have to make sure that I have all the talents so you can build the classic stuff and also some new stuff. So I am proud of some of the talents that I'm developing that are a little bit different. So one of them, which may not be what people think it is the shape-shifting talent. Because the shape-shifting talent isn't like taking an animal form, or it's essentially like being Clayface from Batman.
Oh, okay.
So it's that kind of shape-shifting. So you can form your body into armor and weapons and extend your limbs and imitate other people. And that'd only be one of the 3 talents you choose. So that's one of the things you can do, as well as the other stuff.
I like that.
We will have to figure out, because I don't want everyone to have access to everything. I want it to be kind of a hard choice. So while you have 3 talents, I think when you level up, you'll only get to choose 2 new abilities from those talents. So you'll kind of have to, like, figure out what you want. But I also want it to be so that pretty much all abilities are available at all times. They just level with you. So, like, if you want to be a mage who starts with Fireball, you can. It's just a very weak Fireball at first level. And then as you level, it gets better.
Why am I trying to do foreshortening? That is such a bad idea.
Well, you can't help yourself. You just...
I'm not good at it.
I think it looks good. Is he going to have clamp hands?
That was my thought.
Clamp hands!
I'm gonna have to move him.
Alright.
Oh my god. So, that's just... Now it's just one thing. Keep talking.
So, yeah, let's see, what else to talk about. Going through the book. Don't just want to read the book at people. And then, what I haven't... part of the reason that we're testing in the low magic setting, the magic system isn't fully fleshed out yet. Like, I know what the resource is for casting spells, and I know how you get it. But I haven't written out the spells in a balanced way. I have a list of spell names and a basic understanding of, like, what their highs and lows are. But, like, that is, like, weeks of work to do. I have started fleshing out equipment, though.
Okay.
So, another thing that I'm doing, because in some games, there's some games where, like, tracking your equipment weight is just too much work, so you don't do it.
Yeah.
And there's other games where it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I want to split the difference. So in my game, your character has a burden that they can bear. Like, it's a small number. It's like, it's like 1 to 10. And every piece of equipment may have, like, a burden score. And some just don't. Because, like, it doesn't cost you anything to carry a candle.
Okay.
But it does cost you something to carry a sword.
That makes sense.
So, like, if you are a weaker character carrying a sword and, like, wearing armor, that's all you can do. But if you're once you're a larger character, and also with other equipment, like, if you have a backpack, that increases your burden. If you have a belt pouch or sheaths, that increases your burden, because you don't have to just carry it loose.
Jeez.
So that I think has a lot of promise to be, so you can do stuff like, if your players come across, like, a huge treasure trove, in some systems dealing with the weight and the minutia of how to handle that is too much, so people just don't. They just go, yeah, you can carry it all, or yeah, you can't carry any of it.
Right.
Whereas in this one, it's just like, okay, you've got like 2 burden left in your bags. Are you just loading up with gold? And then if you go overburden, you might be moving slower, or you could like automatically fail swim checks or stuff like that. So, I've also been trying to like make up a character sheet, which is its own corner of hell, because you have to fit so much information.
Yeah.
You have to have what their stats are, all their like, you know, bloodline, culture, upbringing stuff, how fast they are, how fast they act in combat. One of the combat systems I've designed is that there's actually multiple layers of defense that you have in combat. You've got your dodge, which is your ability to just sidestep attacks, and then past that you have your block. So your dodge plus your block is your full defense. So if someone rolls and they're below your dodge, then you just don't take the hit. If someone rolls and they're below your dodge plus block, then they hit you, but you block it with your armor. And then if they're above that, there's some armors will also just give you an ability to negate some of the damage you take. So even if someone like gets in a hit, you'll negate some of it by wearing armor, which increases your block.
Alright. I think this is maybe this, yes?
I like that.
Okay.
Poor guy doesn't have elbows.
Yeah.
But maybe the extendo.
Maybe the extendo?
Yeah, if you just give him the rib stuff and then the extendo.
In fact, let's do this.
There, he's got an elbow.
Well, he's gonna do sort of that.
Yeah.
Because then on this end, too, you got kind of that. Something like that.
Beautiful. I love them. Thank you so much.
Oh god, I hate drawing robots. Why would you do this to me?
I will try to draw most of the robots.
So, in like, I don't know, a day or something, we'll do the rest of this video.
Because you're going to render all these and show me once they're like fully done.
So,
and then we'll put them in the book.
So pause for a second and we'll be right back. Here are the finished pieces.
Okay.
They'll probably get tweaked before the book. But for now, we have the android.
Ooh, I like the background cog.
And
the coloration of the reflections, that looks real good.
Thank you. I also, if I zoom in, you can see his little...
Is he a worker or combat or...
I have no idea, but he has little light bulbs for eyeballs.
Yeah, little LED things.
Yeah. I have no idea what he does for a living.
I don't know his life.
I don't.
That looks so good.
Thank you. You ready for the next one?
I'm ready for the next one. Ooh.
How do you pronounce it? Eerie?
Eerie? Yeah, Eerie.
Eerie. Okay. So I had fun with him.
You finalized the butt.
He has compound eyes. Too many limbs and little rib things that probably don't do anything. I had to finagle the butt.
That's fine. Insect butts are weird.
Insect butts are weird. But I wanted his flesh to look like it might be a little color changey.
I like how you turned his high into a high.
Yeah. And the dwarf.
Oh, nice.
She's my favorite.
Yeah.
She's stylish.
She is. She's good.
She's got lots of jewelry on.
We'll be playing her soon.
Yeah.
Got the nose stud, the classic dwarf sideburns.
Mm-hmm. Lots of jewelry and stuff, because figure she's fancy.
Yeah.
And then I also have them all together.
That looks real good.
We'll tweak as necessary for the actual book.
Yeah, we'll pop them in the book.
But yeah. So when this book exists...
Yes.
It'll be available on Itch.io and on our website.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a print.
Mm-hmm.
I might, because I do want to learn bookbinding. So I have a thought in my head.
No.
I have a thought in my head.
Okay.
To do a special edition of a limited number. This is not a promise.
No.
This is an idea. I shouldn't.
My poor insane husband.
I want to learn bookbinding.
Okay. Appreciated.
But the book will be available.
Yes.
Nonetheless, the book will be available.
Yes, and it'll have items you've made and all kinds of other stuff too.
It's coming along quite well. I'm looking forward to the playtest. Looking forward to see what everyone does with it and how it actually rolls out. So, yeah.
Rock on.
Rock on.